an HMO has a network, and you have to say you have a primary care physician, and you get referrals from your primary care physician. And you have to stay within the network. If you go outside of the network, then you're on your own. They're not going to cover it. Okay, PPO also has a network. And you get the best deals if you're staying inside of the PPO's network. But you have the flexibility of going outside of the network, and you don't have to have a referral from your primary care physician. I would line them up for you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I would line them up for you side by side, and then you could decide then whether you want to do an HMO or a PPO. And if you decide you want to do an HMO this year and do a PPO next year, or you want to do a PPO this year and an HMO next year, we can change it. What you got to know, though, is that if you do the PPO thing, that your co-payments are going to cost you a little bit more. You know, instead of, let's just make up some numbers here. Instead of being $20, they might be $30. Okay, so it's going to cost you a little bit more. If you go outside of the network, then you're going to pay a lot more outside of the network. What I want you to know is over here, you're going to get a lot of extra benefits. You got dental, vision, and hearing is usually bundled in with these plans. They're not always the greatest plans ever. You know, they're the best dental plan ever, but you do get some coverage with most of these plans. Your prescription drug coverage gets bundled in most of these plans, so you don't have to go get a separate prescription drug plan. And if we need to change that, we change that. Now, while this has a zero premium, you're going to pay these out-of-pocket costs as you use it. And I'll give you a scenario, because that stuff kind of adds up over time. Let's say I've got an earache, and my wife says, you know, you ought to go get that checked out. I'll say, okay, go to my primary care physician. It's going to be $20. It's never that simple. So I go to my primary care physician, and he says, you know, I don't see anything, but an earache could be a sign of a tumor. So I'd like for you to go see this specialist over here. And while we're at it, I want you to go see this specialist over here. And so this specialist looks at my ear and says, yeah, I'd like to order some imaging just to make sure. And this specialist over here says, you know, bacterial infections are pretty easy for us to spot. Viral infections are a little tougher. Let's order some blood labs. So now I've got two specialists that I'm paying maybe $30, $35 for a copay for, and I've got two procedures going on. I've got, guess what? Those have copayments too. And then somebody's got to read those things and interpret those things. So every time the carousel is going around, somebody's collecting more copayments from me. So my little $20 earache is costing me hundreds of dollars now. It's seldom that neat where you just go to the doctor once and they take care of it. You know, if you got a flu or something like that, you might keep it that simple. But more complex things, it's going to involve multiple doctors and multiple procedures. All of those things have copayments. You go to the hospital, you have a copayment. You take the ambulance, you're going to have a copayment. You get outpatient surgery, you're going to have a copayment. They're just going to be collecting copayments along the way. So this isn't costing you anything up here, but they're collecting it down here. This is pay in advance. This is pay as you go.